Hello, group number 1. You chose the citrine, and the citrine is a stone of prosperity. So right off the bat, I see money for you. And this stone is also a bit shaped like a frog, if you can see it. Maybe I'm the only one who can see it, but so I think you might be kissing a frog that turns into a prince. So I don't know if you are going to take a chance on something that will not look very good at first, but then that will actually give you a lot of prosperity, and also maybe you will like start dating someone who is either rich or will be rich in the future, or maybe you will meet someone who will not be that financially stable when you meet, but maybe he will inherit a lot of money or something. But let's draw some cards. Okay, so firstly I will come clean. My first thought was not like that it looked like a frog. My first thought was actually that it looked a bit like an arrowhead, and so there might be two scenarios here. So there could be a scenario represented by the frog and a scenario represented by the arrowhead. And so I will start by the arrowhead because, well, it's always good to get the bad news away first. So I see that maybe the money coming in might be gained through something tragic in your life, like death. And if that is the case, I am truly very sorry. But if you don't have any relatives who are dead or very, very ill right now, then you probably should ignore this message and just wait for the message about the frog. But we need to talk about this arrowhead first. And so I see that this is about an inheritance, and it could be someone wealthy from your family, possibly a male with like the King of Pentacles here. This is just, but in this deck it's actually a woman, so this could be an elderly woman in your family. So it could be both like a grandmother or a grandfather. It could also be an uncle. It could also be someone closer, but I don't want to freak anyone out because really, if I don't see necessarily that there will happen something that will be very shocking to you, and so you might actually already know about this. This might actually already have happened. So and you might already be waiting for this inheritance, or be in the process of getting this inheritance. And I think this whole process will be very dramatic, with the five of pipes here. It's 5 of wands. So I see that like family members fighting, and also with the 4 of stones. There might be like might be a family member in your family who is like very greedy and selfish, and I also see that like with the tower here, I see that I think the whole thing will actually even force you into cutting contact with some of your family members. And also with the 7 of bows here, I think that you are not really ready to face the reality of this situation, and you might actually still have hopes that this whole thing will work out in your favor, or even in a decent way, like, but I see that it might not. I see that you will get money, but I don't think it will be, maybe it won't be as much as you expected, or maybe you will get as much as you expected, but you didn't know that you would lose so much in the process, that it would take such a toll on your family. So the money will come in, but there will be a cost, and this cost will maybe be hard to live with. And so I know it's my allergies, but I'm tearing up right now, so I'm not sure if... I think this is actually really hard. Maybe you have cried a lot about this whole situation, but which is understandable if this is something you resonate with. And so also if this is not a death in the family, I think that the arrowhead could simply like symbolize your father. So also with the emperor here, he's like the head of the family, and so maybe you will have a falling out with your father because of money, like maybe because of a loan or some money that he has or will be granting you in the near future. Also, this may be only relevant for a few of you, but maybe your father is a bit toxic, so he might help you financially and then turn the family against you by telling your family members about the money, like maybe your siblings, and so they may become jealous and even some of them might even accuse you of taking advantage of your father. So I see that the money will be coming in, but it won't be without cost. And maybe if you are considering asking your father for money, maybe think twice before you do so. And so, but if this is like a frog, I see that there are a few possible scenarios. If you are thinking of pursuing a career that you see a lot of potential in, but everyone around you might be a bit pessimistic or negative, and then I see that you will actually turn this into something actually very lucrative. And so also, like with the King of Pentacles, or exemplar of stones, who is a woman in this deck, you can see that this could actually be you in the future, and this is a very wealthy lady with a lot of expensive jewelry, and so maybe this will actually be a career path that will give you success. So five of pipes here also has a lot of people fighting each other, but in this deck it's almost blissful. But she might be blowing like her pipes to lure prey in. So she could be hunting, and so you might do something similar for a living, like so this may not actually be a negative card. It may just represent what you do for a living. So you might have a job where you are luring people in. You might be in advertisement, or maybe consider a career in advertisement, or maybe like you're promoting something. And with the Four of Stones here, normally this is in the Rider-Waite deck, this is represented by someone who is holding a coin, and so it's often interpreted as someone greedy, or someone who don't want to share his money, and so, but in this deck it's just a woman making jewelry. So you might also be like, so you might be making jewelry, but also it could be like a creative project, something that maybe is a frog in the beginning, but turns into a prince with time. Like it could be you could be turning lemons into lemonade, like but with the Seven of Bowls, which is Seven of Cups, I see that you have maybe a lot of big plans for the future, and you might have to ground yourself a bit. You might not be completely realistic, and also I see that maybe you should limit your dreams a little bit, like maybe also like with the Tower, like you should maybe like push some of your ideas out of the Tower, because maybe you should like narrow it down a bit. Also, if like the frog is not a career, but an actual frog prince, like a guy or a girl, this person could be a Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn, and he might be very wealthy, but I have may be some bad news for you, because he might not be very keen on sharing his wealth. So I see that you might have quite a few arguments with this guy, and so I see that there will be some wishful thinking going on, and so I think you might still be hopeful that this relationship will pay off in your favor. But with the Tower here, I think you should consider whether or not you are ready to pay the price. Like, you shouldn't be with this person because of his money if he's not treating you right, and also if this is like someone if you're in a relationship with this King of Pentacles and you are a bit dependent on him financially, then you shouldn't stay with him if you aren't in love with him. But so that's something you should remember. You can make it on your own. You shouldn't feel like obligated to be with him because of, like, I don't know. But also, well, to get to the, like, the question was, is there money coming in? And to answer that question, I have to be a bit hesitant, because the cards they seem a bit negative, on the negative side. So also with the arrowhead, it was pointing at you. So maybe you are actually going to be the one who's going to give other people money. Like, maybe you will loan someone money, or maybe you will even be paying someone their money back. So also, I don't know why I thought of this, but maybe you're going to get pregnant in the near future, and so maybe that's where the money will run out to. But like, even though that will cost you a lot of money, you will still receive a great gift from the universe, like the gift of life. And so maybe that's not not the worst thing. So that's what I see for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the reading, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2. You chose the ametrine, and the ametrine is both like an amethyst and a citrine. So amethyst is all about spirituality and clairvoyance and divine wisdom, and citrine is about like prosperity and wealth and fortune. And so I see that with this combination you might actually be getting a lot of success in a spiritual career. So you might be considering writing a book about spirituality, or you might be thinking of becoming like a tarot reader, and you might also think of opening your own business, maybe as like a psychic medium, or maybe you're thinking of opening a store that sells like mystical products, or even like a bookstore that sells used books or something like that. And so you might also be a spiritual leader, or maybe a life coach. You could also be considering a more traditional route and consider becoming like a priest. But let's draw some cards to get more insights. Okay, so I might not actually see a change in income for you in the near future. I see that you are very passionate, as you are the Queen of Wands, and you may also be a Leo or Aries or a Sagittarius. And so, but with the Two of Coins here, if you like look at the picture, there's like a dance going on, and it's like, I always picture it as like one of those traditional dances where you switch partners. And so you might actually be considering changing your career, like switching your partner, or maybe business partner, but also like just your career. And so you might already have some idea in your head who you want to dance with next. And so I also see that with the Two of Wands here, I see that you're actually I see that when you actually start planning for the change, you might enter like a period where you are weighing your options, and you might go back and forth and become almost obsessive in your planning. Like you can see on the image here, like the floor is like a checkers board, and so the person is like going back and forth and really thinking and rethinking and calculating and recalculating, like to the extent that this is like she's exhausted, like and even a bit sad, like. And so also with like the Moon card here at the end, I think you will actually end up suffocating this new this idea you may have had about changing your job, or so you might be worrying too much, because when we plan too much, we start to plan for failures. Like we start to plan out what we're going to do if this happens, and what we're going to do if this happens, and if that happens, and also if that happens, and although it's good to be safe, but what you are doing by like thinking of every single scenario that can happen is that you create all these negative scenarios in your head, and to the point where you just don't want to risk it anymore. Like you become you start to see too much risk where there might not even have been any risk to begin with. And but the positive thing is that I see that you, being the Queen of Wands here, you are you may actually you are highly capable of making your dreams come true. The only thing that is actually blocking you is yourself. So that's the good thing. It's not someone outside who's ruining your dreams, but I also see that as the Queen of Wands, you may actually not be that slow to action normally, and so maybe you never, maybe you didn't want it to manifest, and that could be because this idea actually wasn't or isn't completely in alignment with your true self, and so you might subconsciously be postponing it and sabotaging it. But I also see a possibility, and I think that's more likely, that you are actually afraid that you will fail, and because this may be so much in alignment with your true self, it may be something that you really want, and so you are anxious to start it because it would devastate you completely if it failed. So maybe this is like even a dream that you had for many years, maybe even since you were a child, and so maybe it has been something that played a huge role in forming your identity. Maybe a lot of your identity and self-image is based on this dream or talent of yours, and so you're afraid that if you fail or get critique, a big chunk of your self-image will be lost, and so maybe you're actually trying to guard yourself by not pursuing your dream, and so you may stay in a job or career that you essentially don't enjoy because it's safe. But not pursuing your dream and not using your talent is a failure. Like, by not doing that, you are failing. Like, so don't let the risk of failure limit you. And you know, it's not like you only have one chance of making it. If you do something and it fails, then just try again. Failure is like the best way of learning and best way to learn and think. And like, if you think of like a successful person, like any person you can think that comes to your mind right now. Like, I bet that person made a lot of mistakes in the beginning of their career, and like many of the most successful actors started out in commercials and bad soap operas and even porn. So remember that every little you should remember that every little misstep you do now will be completely forgotten with time. And also, like, remember that you shouldn't like let the opinion of others define you. If you do something that you personally are proud of, then your opinion should be the only opinion that matters to you. Don't let anyone make you feel embarrassed by your work. And even if you like start something new and you haven't truly figured everything out yet, and someone points out a mistake you've made, then just correct that mistake if that is like possible. But even if it's not possible, just leave it, move on, and remember that everyone makes mistakes. And don't get embarrassed by not having all the information when you start something. Like we all become more informed with time, and if we get embarrassed every time we learn something new that we didn't know before, and criticize our past self for not knowing what we know now in the present time, like, then we will start to distance ourselves from our past and ourselves too, and we will become fearful of the unknown and and then we will not dare to say or do anything, like, because we are so afraid that we will learn later on that what we said or did wasn't the smartest thing to say or do at that moment. And so you need to reconcile with yourself and bury the like and every time you learn something new, like, just be happy that you know it now. Like, be happy that you've received that information and can learn from it, and don't scold yourself, your past self, for being ignorant. Embrace your past self and tell yourself that you did the best you could with the information and knowledge that you had at the time, and cut yourself some slack. And there is also a possibility that this is a deeper trauma that you have, and if so, you could maybe heal it with like therapy. But in one scenario, I see that you could have been a child who were maybe a bit quick to action and maybe a bit impulsive, and so you might have had a history maybe especially in your childhood and teens, where you maybe didn't think things through, and so you might have got tangled into some bad situation, and also you may have been the type who was really interested in something, and then you lost interest from like one day to the other, and so you might have even afterwards have denied everything, like ever having denied having had any interest in the first place. Like, you might have realized at some point that it was a bit silly, or you felt that it was a bit silly, and so you got embarrassed, like, and every time people asked you afterwards, you might have denied it, which was also embarrassing because it was truly obvious that you were lying. But so you might have, this may only resonate with a few of you, but like you might have also had hobbies for a short period at a time, and then turned your back on them, and as soon as you acquired a new hobby. And so maybe now that you're an adult, you may have become too hesitant on starting anything new because you're afraid that you won't follow through with it. Maybe that you will find it silly in the future. And I also see that you may have had really supportive parents growing up. This is one scenario I see, that you could have had parents who really cheered you on in every idea that you had, like maybe also to the extent where they maybe riled you up about your ideas too. And so maybe you actually even had an idea to show your talent to others in your childhood, and your parents were really on board. And so maybe this experience wasn't actually what you thought it would be, and maybe you even got critique or even got bullied for doing it. And so you might have been like mad at your parents and asked them why they told you that it was a good idea in the first place. And so they might have said to you that the reason why they didn't why they told you that it was a good idea was because they wanted to support you, and if you wanted to do something, they didn't want to be in your way and stop you from that. So basically what they were actually saying was that they actually didn't think it was a good idea in the first place, but they lied to you and made you believe that it was a good idea. And so every time you get an idea now, and even if other people confirm that it's a good idea, you are hesitant because you are afraid that you will fail, and that people would tell you that they lied to you because they didn't want you to feel bad. So I think you are afraid of the future and the unknown. And So you might feel like you can prevent any embarrassment and failure by just not taking any chances and not listening to your own ideas, because you are afraid of your own ideas and your own judgment of your ideas. But that's because I think you've had a specific experience once that made you doubt your own judgment. But maybe think back on that incident. If there was an incident like that in your childhood, maybe this idea of yours wasn't actually your idea in the first place. If you had like this scenario happen where you had an idea that led to embarrassment and your parents coming clean to you that they actually had been lying to you, then I see that this idea might not have been yours, because children and also young adults tend to present their parents with a lot of different ideas, and sometimes children present ideas to their parents to please their parents. And so maybe you told them something that you mistakenly thought they wanted to hear, and when they actually reacted as they did, like excited, and then their excitement might have rubbed off on you, and as their fake excitement rubbed off on you, you might even have misinterpreted this excitement that you shared with your parents as your own excitement, and in that way you might have mistaken the idea as yours. And so when the idea failed, you became devastated both for yourself and also for your parents. And even though like they then told you that they lied, like, but to hear that your parents had faked their excitement, this must have like made you feel very alone with the blame and accountability. And but remember that the whole idea was not even your own in the first place. It was an idea that you thought would please your parents. So whenever you get an idea now, you shouldn't be afraid of pursuing it unless that idea is actually an idea that will please others. If it's an idea that will make someone proud of you or please someone, then you should be afraid of it. Then you should fear it, like, because then that idea is not in alignment with your true self, and then that idea is not your own idea. And so only pursue the dreams that will make you happy, and that you know will give you happiness, even if no one in your family knew about it. And maybe hesitate on sharing this dream or idea with anyone in your family. Just do it by yourself at first. And also, if you are thinking of writing and maybe publishing your work, then you should maybe consider publishing it anonymously at first, because then you might actually be able to write more freely without as many worries, even if you just like maybe start by writing as if you were going to publish it anonymously. Maybe you'll change your mind at the end, but that whole thing might heal your writer's block if you have one. And so that's what I see for you, group number 2. I hope this reading helped you, and if you enjoyed it, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye. Hello, group number 2, group number 3. You chose the blue Chalcedony conchina, druzy agate. And so I got the message for this group particularly that I had to use a jewel for this group. So all the other groups got gemstones. So there must be something significant for this group, because so also this stone, first of all, is glittery, and so you might work with glittery items. So you might work with like jewelry or clothing, or you might also have like an arts and crafts store that sells fabrics and dyes, and of course like glitter. Like you might work with something creative, and you might be very focused or keen on aesthetics, like, so you might be a Libra in midheaven. And also I see that you could work with something to do with self-care, because like this is a blue Chalcedonian, so you might sell candles or even lotions. And I also see that you might have like multiple interests and multiple talents, and so you might have 2 jobs, or you might even have like a side hustle. So you might work with something to do with healing too, and you might be a healer, but it's also like a druzy conchina, and so to my knowledge that is a stone on top of a different stone, and I think it's like a combination of an agate and a blue chalcedony. And so I think you are either building something on top of your current career, something really fabulous because of the glitter, and so you might consider combining 2 careers, or maybe letting the one career outshine the other. Also with the agate, I googled like a while back because I was curious about it, and I'm not sure if this is true. I need to do more research on it, but agate was like a really valuable stone once, some 1,000 years ago, like not years ago, but years before Christ, and so a few thousand years later, there was a shift, and so and somehow, like, it wasn't really considered valuable anymore, and so maybe your daytime job is a bit like outdated, or maybe a dying profession. Like, it could be that you work at a store that is really struggling because so many stores are moving online, so you might actually be thinking of doing something differently, like maybe YouTube, because you're uncertain that you will be able to keep your daytime job, and like maybe your job is also threatened by Corona. Maybe your workplace has been shut down because of Corona or something like that. But well, I see that you will grow this beautiful glittery blue chalcedony on top of it, and this new career will be fabulous, and it might also be very healing to a lot of people. And since also the blue chalcedony is a stone of public speaking, this could also be like a webinar, or maybe like your job will go online, and this shift will actually be a great thing for you. Like maybe you're a teacher or a therapist or a counselor, and now you're doing Skype meetings. And so I do see, though, that there are some waves. So this might be rocky and turbulent at first, but money is coming in because like there's glitter. I sense that anyways, but let's draw some cards first before we jump into any conclusions. Like, so, okay. Okay, so with the Judgment card, I do sense that there are money coming in, and with the Queen of Wands, you might be a Leo or a Sagittarius or an Aries, and because of the Queen of Wands. And so I see that there's going to be a rebirth in your career, and that correlates quite fine with this shift I was talking about. Like, you might have had a stagnant career or uncertain career, maybe like a job that was in risk either because of Corona or because of the internet. And so I see that there will either be a reinvention of your current job, like maybe your job will become online based, or you might be changing the jobs, and you might be changing jobs, and this career change will be a rebirth for you. So what I do see here is that there's something weird here, because you have the 8 of Pentacles, but you also have like the 7 of Swords. So those two cards are kind of opposites in my opinion, because on the one hand there's like a guy doing honest work, and he's also the one working on the outside of like the castle here, and so his work might not be recognized by the people buying his work, and because it's likely that a merchant will buy his work from him and sell it to people in the castle for a big profit, and so he may not be like even allowed to enter the castle himself, because he's not presentable. He has this raggedy clothes on, and so I often see this card as someone doing a lot of honest work and not getting credit for it. I also see that this is someone who is like getting tricked, because he might sell himself too short, and someone else might be getting rich for the work that he has done, and in the background, the castle in the background is like just getting bigger and richer, and it is all because of him, because he's the one doing the work. But and so it's like this unfair like scenario, and so with the 7 of Swords here, I see someone sneaking inside the enemy's camp, like stealing their swords, and so that is always a card where someone is doing something indecent in the shadows, like hoping that it will go unnoticed. And so okay, now I understand what this means. You might be doing a lot of work for someone who doesn't like acknowledge you, and you might actually play a big role in your workplace, and you might be earning the company a lot of money, and you might be like underpaid and underappreciated at your job, and so maybe instead of asking for a raise, you're like actively searching for a new job, and you might not have told your boss that you're considering leaving, and so this might be considered a bit shady as if anyone noticed it. And so I think that you are But I think you are like the slave to this company right now, but like you will find your confidence as the Queen of Wands, but you might also be so keen on moving forward and finding something better for yourself, and so you might actually be sending job applications without telling anyone at your workplace, and you might even accept a job offer without even voicing your opinion to your boss, and maybe also, and so this may feel like a betrayal, but I see that it will actually be a good thing, because in the end you will be reborn and you will be one of the lucky ones who will actually make the cut and actually keep their job in this crisis that we are in right now. And so if you've had if you like actually had been honest and maybe asked for a raise at your current job, then you might not have left, and you might and I think it will be a good thing, because I see that whatever you will leave behind will have a hard time after you leave, so you will actually leave at the right time. So, and also like the Seven of Swords is not only a card of betrayal, it's also a card of strategy, and well, strategy is, well, it's a kind of betrayal, because strategy is making a calculated decision that will affect others without actually consulting the people that will be affected. So but it's a smart thing to do sometimes, and it might be considered selfish, but we have to think selfishly sometimes, and also remember that you weren't being treated completely fairly at your job, and so you are not being you might also not be, I'm not sure if you're probably still in this job, so, but you shouldn't keep on working too much and not getting credit for it just because the workplace can't really survive without you. Like, know that you are like the Queen of Wands, you are talented and efficient, and if they want you as an employee, then they need to show you some numbers, and if they can't outbid your new job offer, then tough luck. And well, I also see that this might be a bit hard for you, because you might have had good co-workers at that place, but that doesn't mean you can't have these people in your life. You can still be friends with them. So, but since I asked about money and this judgment came as the last card, I see that money will most definitely come in, and well, you need to kind of get through this whole shift first, but in the end it will turn out great. You will be getting what you deserve, and so all your hard work from this card here will be paying off in the end. So this might also be that this could also be that in a scenario, another scenario, this could be that you've been working on a project for a while now, and this will get recognition soon. Not very soon, but soon enough, maybe in 4 months. Also, I see a scenario where that, and it may only apply to like one person, but if you have been working on something and then went public with it and someone stole it, I see that this will be judged. There will shine light on this person's wrongdoing. Also, I see that if you have been involved with a legal case where someone robbed you or someone stole something from you that you have been working on for a long time, then this person will be judged for it and you will be getting compensation because this person's crime will be like obvious to others, and you may even get like crucial evidence that will shine light on the case, something that will close the case in your favor, and you will get a substantial amount of money from it. So I see that good things will happen for you, group number 3. This was a good reading. I really hope that this all turns out in your favor, as the cards suggest. And so I wish you a happy and prosperous month, and I hope to see you in my next reading. And if you enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel, and I would really appreciate your support. And so see you next time. Bye. Group number 4, you chose this Moki marble, and I see that with the Moki marble here, which is often referred to as the shaman stone, you might actually be a shaman or a healer, and so you might actually do that as a career. And I see that this is the masculine counterpart to the feminine Moki marble, and I see that there's 2 scenarios here. Maybe you are in a relationship with someone who is going to have money coming in soon, and this will benefit you, or maybe you work in like a male dominant field. And I also read somewhere a while back that like if you rub this stone in like a scented oil, the oil will last a long time on the stone. So maybe you can look forward to a long period of financial stability. But let's draw some cards and get some more insight. Okay, so there's definitely money coming in for you guys, and with the 8 of Wands here, you will receive it very, very soon. Let's see also with the 3 of Pentacles here, see that you will you will receive acknowledgement for like a talent of yours. And with all the cups here, like the Knight of Cups and like the Ten of Cups and Six of Cups, this could be a boyfriend that will play a role in the increase in finances for you, but it could also be that this is a passion project, something that you really love and has something that you have poured a lot of your heart into. And so in that case, you will finally be able to turn what you love into a job. And so I see a lot of money coming in, and also maybe this is like a creative project also, although the masculine Moki marble is not so much about creativity, but because but maybe that's because you need to be more in your masculine energy now. Maybe you have been really much in your feminine energy while you worked on this creative project, and now you need to tap into your masculine energy to actually make profit out of it. But well, there's no bad cards here, really, only good cards, even like Ace of Pentacles. So maybe that is not so serious. Like I see that you will be starting something new that will be very profitable. And also with the Three of Pentacles, you could be working with others, and you could even be working with this new love coming in, maybe a water sign, so a Cancer or a Scorpio or a Pisces. And so you could also you could start like a family business together. But I do get the sense that you may already know what this is, because I sense that with like the Eight of Wands, that this is actually something that's coming in really, really quickly. So this might actually be already be in motion, set in motion, and maybe you're just watching this video to get confirmation that you have made the right choice in starting this new thing. And I can assure you that the outcome will be good. So there will be money coming in, and quite frankly, that's not the only thing coming in. You might also have love coming in, and so this could also, with the Six of Cups here, could also be a dream you've had since you were a child. And so I see that this dream will finally come true, and it will come true soon, very soon. And I also see that this love offer might come in as soon as you get money. And so I think you can look forward to that, but also beware that in one scenario because of the Six of Cups. And Six of Cups is like the nostalgia card. This new love offer could actually be coming from an ex. And so you should be cautious, because he might only be reaching out to you because he wants to share some of your wealth. Like, I'm not saying he would contact you if... Well, I see that he will, he might only be contacting you because of the money that you will get in the near future. And so I want to put that out there. But if this is a new love, I see only good things for you. And also, in a very unlikely scenario, this could actually be an ex who is going to contact you very soon. And he might have become very wealthy while you two were apart. And so I know that might sound bad, but I actually think you should consider this offer. Of course, if you dumped him because he broke your trust or did something unforgivable to you, then you should just block him and move on. But if he was just a bit immature at the time, he might actually have matured a lot since your breakup. And so I think you should give him a chance. If this is you who will be starting a business or a job that will be lucrative, I think this could have something to do, like, this is like a party. And so this could be like, you could be thinking of something like event planning, maybe even wedding planning, or maybe you're thinking of opening a bar or a restaurant, or somewhere where there's an empty room that can be rented out for weddings or other social gatherings. This might also be like a bed and breakfast, but whatever it is, I see that it will accumulate a lot of money, and you might even get married yourself. And when this money comes in, you might use the money for a wedding, or you might have a party to celebrate your success. And maybe at that party you will meet your future boyfriend, or girlfriend. So that is what I see for you, group number 4. I hope you enjoyed this reading. If you did, please subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next reading. Bye.